I'm sitting here with a woman with three faces, Calypso. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good too. It's a bit warm today, but besides, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Before we turn to WXW, I would like to talk a bit about you. How did you get into wrestling in the first place?
Well, I started wrestling when I was 16, so it was in 2016.
Mhm.
I discovered wrestling because of my brother, because he was playing, like the video game of wrestling.
Okay.
And so I started watching him, and then he basically introduced me into what wrestling really was. And yeah, I was just in love with wrestling, and I decided like why not start. So I started, yeah, at 16.
Okay. Um, I found out in a conversation with Tassilo Jung that Tristan Archer is responsible for a lot with you French wrestlers. How is the relationship between you two?
Well, I like him a lot. He's basically like, yeah, well, most of the people in France call him like uncle.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty much the uncle of like everyone in France. Yeah, he's really cool. He gives us some advice. He knows how to tell someone something. Like if, for example, if I do something wrong, I know he's gonna be the one to be honest with me and tell me that I did something wrong.
Mhm.
Like he's like, yeah, he's just awesome.
Okay. Um, I tried to find out a bit about your coaching, your trainers, but I didn't found anything. Can you tell us who were you trained by?
So I started wrestling in a very like small and exclusive promotion in France that isn't really known outside of France. It's called Wrestling Stars.
Mhm.
It was promoted by Flash Gordon, a big French wrestler back then. Um, and so my trainer was Flash Gordon and Mr. Jackie Richard. So they were both my trainers for maybe like 3 years. Then I left and went to APC in France. So I got trained by Aigle Blanc,
Hmm.
Rick Salem, A-Bug, Christianium, all the trainers there.
Yeah, all those guys from APC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you said so yourself, you're in the ring for like 7 years now. What the worst experience you had in that time?
Well, I think it was my three first years in Wrestling Stars because it was, like I said, a very small and exclusive promotion. So we were not allowed to wrestle anywhere else.
Okay.
And we had to do the same matches every weekend. So the good thing there was that we wrestled pretty much every weekend. So that was cool. But the bad thing was that we were doing the same matches over and over again. So that was looking back now, that was a pretty bad experience because I kind of like wasted 3 years of my wrestling career into doing the same match over and over again. So I'm like kind of sad about that, but like still.
Yeah, I was checking your matches and I was wondering why, there's always the same match. In the beginning, there was always the same winner, I think. Yeah, but that explains it. So, okay, I understand where you're coming from. Yes. But the next 4 years, they were better, I guess. Is there something you would consider your best experience so far?
um had a lot of good experience when I got out of this promotion. I basically discovered what real wrestling was. And the best one, there was a lot of good experience. But I think it was working outside of France with other promotions and other workers because you can see like the difference of experience and work that everyone has. And it's very interesting to learn from everyone and to see how different we work in different countries.
Hmm.
So I think all of my experience outside of France were the best ones because like I learned a lot in every single of them. So yeah.
Yeah, you have been wrestling exclusively in Europe so far. Do you plan to wrestle elsewhere too?
Well, I would really, really love to go wrestle in Japan.
Hmm.
That's that's in the project. Like it's not like for sure. Nothing has been planned yet, but like definitely in the near future, I will be working in Japan. Well, I hope I will be.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep my fingers crossed then. Yeah. You appear as the woman with three faces. How did this gimmick come about?
So before lockdown and before COVID, I didn't really had a gimmick. Like
Hmm.
it was pretty much like just me wrestling. So during COVID and lockdown, I had a lot of time to think about my gimmick and where I wanted to go. And that's where I found the three faces gimmicks. So basically, when I was little, I used to do a lot of theater.
Hmm.
So that's where the masks come from, like the theater, tragedy, comedy, everything. And yeah, so I thought about that and then about putting it into a gimmick that made it a little mysterious, and that with this gimmick I can work like either face or heel or everything, like everything can work with it. And it's very like it's a gimmick that's very deep and very mysterious, so I can always like do something new with it. So that's what I really liked about it.
Hmm. Do the masks have a specific meaning? You were talking about, face and heel, and I mean, you have that good mask and rather evil-looking mask. Yeah, do they have a specific meaning?
Basically, for the story of my persona and everything, it's that's the story I've put for the gimmick. It's that Calypso basically is was a very lonely girl that was left by everyone around her. They left her, they abandoned her. And so she found comfort with those masks that helped her getting better, getting aggressive, happy, sad,
Hmm.
feeling all these emotions that she lost. And yeah, now she can't go anywhere without them now. Like
Okay, I see.
she's I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Going back to APC and the French scene, how is the French scene doing and how did it evolve since you've been active?
Um, I'm really happy because when I started wrestling, there was this whole new generation of women coming in France. And since this generation came, it really changed with women's wrestling in France because the scene for women in France was very bad. Like there was maybe three girls in
Hmm.
France, and we had this whole new generation of women that came and did better in the ring and did an impact and had a lot of more opportunities. Uh, so now, since like we all came, the scene got really better for us women. Um, and yeah, I think like now France, and I include Belgium too with
Okay.
France.
Hmm.
Um, it it got really better like for the last few years, because we had these new promotions. Like we have Borizo wrestling in Belgium, we have Ritz in France, we have ABC still, and they do um so much more than before into their wrestling. They get like people from other countries in and they produce something really good to the public. So yeah,
Yeah,
it
we saw you. We saw Anastasia Bardot. She was at Femme Fatale last year, if I remember correctly. Anyone else the WXW fans should be looking forward to?
From France,
Yes.
um, I think in the upcoming talent, we have this one girl in France. Her name is Corey Zero.
Hmm.
She began training like maybe 2 years ago, and now she's been wrestling. She's wrestling tomorrow for Passion Pro in Hungary.
Hmm.
She's really new well, she's just starting her career, but I think she can go like really, really far. Like she's very talented and very dedicating into this. So I think we're gonna hear a lot from her
Okay.
very soon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Last year, you were in the title match at Femme Fatale. This year, you're in the tournament. There should be many new faces for you to compete against. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, totally. It's the first time that I'm in a tournament, so I'm really excited to do that. I hope I do more than one match. I hope I can win at least one match. Yeah, it's nice to see like all of these girls being there and a lot of new girls that have never worked at WXW. So that's a lot of opportunities, and even just to talk to them backstage and learn from their experience and trying to have like some advices on stuff.
Hmm.
It's still like very good. So I'm really looking forward towards that.
What do you think does such an event mean for the development of women's wrestling in Europe?
I think it's very important to have like all women's shows because there are not a lot of women in this business. And so when you see a basic wrestling show, most of the time there's one or maybe two women's match, but that's it.
Hmm.
And there's not much time or stuff to put light on the woman. So to have a whole show about women is very good because um we can see so much different women, so much different styles, so much different, like gimmicks and stuff that women do. And I think most people don't really know like women's wrestling in Europe. So it's very, very important to have events like that, especially on a big weekend like the World Tag League. Like
Yeah,
it's very like important to have that.
yeah, agreed. There will be many people watching because they're there for the Tag Team Festival, and that's a good chance, I guess, for many women and yeah, women's wrestling in general. You had quite a good start at WXW, I would say. You had 4 losses, but 7 wins. How satisfied are you with your run so far?
Well, I'm happy because I wasn't expecting to go this early in my career in WXW because, to be really honest, when they called me, I thought I wasn't ready at all. uh, but still, they trusted me and they still call me back. So I think I'm doing a good job then. But I'm very happy because like WXW was one of my goals started in wrestling. Um, and it was really like one of my biggest goal, like before going to Japan, it was WXW. And now that I'm working for them, uh, I'm just like very happy. I can learn a lot from people there. Like they have such like experienced people there, and I am always like asking for feedbacks, for advices, for stuff, and it's just like amazing. And they're so professional with everything. Like that's just like one of the best promotions I've worked with.
Yeah. You said it was maybe your first big goal as a wrestler to work for WXW. What would your next goals be? Maybe in WXW, maybe women's champion, but yeah, outside of WXW as well.
Yeah, of course. One of my goals is to win a championship because since I started wrestling, I haven't won a single championship.
Okay.
So that would be nice to win one championship at some point. Maybe WXW won. That would be awesome. I got my eyes on that championship.
Yeah, you were in a match twice, I guess.
I had a lot of opportunities for the WXW Women's Championship, like
Okay.
a lot. But yeah, always
so
missing
far.
that. But yeah, there's winning a championship. That would be great. There's wrestling in the UK too that I haven't done. I had like maybe at some point 2 or 3 opportunities to work there, but with COVID and stuff back then, it got canceled and then never got news from that. So there's that, like, yeah, travel all around the world, like do countries that I haven't done, like Spain, Italy, Hungary, the UK. Is like there are so much countries that I would like to wrestle in Europe. And yeah, then it's to go to Japan. That would be like the biggest goal now.
You were speaking about countries you'd like to wrestle. Is there any opponent you'd love to wrestle?
Oh my God, there are so many opponents. Recently, I've really wanted to wrestle Lizzie Evo. That's the one I've been like really, really admiring for quite some time. There's her, there's Emerson J too. There's so much people actually.
Okay.
There's so much people that I would love to wrestle against. But yeah, I think recently it's been most about Lizzie Evo that I would love to face one day.
Okay. Femme Fatale, you said it, runs as part of Tag Team Festival, and we actually have a mixed tag team there, the Y2 Cuties. Would that be something for you in the future? I mean, you had a mixed tag team with Tristan Archer. It was successful. You did win. So maybe in the future?
I mean, most of it, yeah. I mean, that would be lovely to wrestle as a team. That's something I'm not that much familiar with because I mostly wrestle alone. But yeah, that would be freaking awesome to have an opportunity like that to wrestle on the Tag Team Festival as a team. Like that would be awesome. So yeah, why not? I'm not like close to anything.
Yeah, I had an interview with Tristan Archer, I think, I don't know, I think it was before Karat, and he said he wanted to be part of the Tag Team Festival as well someday. So maybe, maybe there will be a chance. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll have to see.
Yeah. One more question about WXW. How did you get into the promotion in the first place? Was it Tristan Archer who brought you here, or was it someone else?
Well, they first knew me in 2020, beginning of 2020, because they did the first fight for Paris there, and I wrestled against ML at that time. So they knew me from there. Then I continued my career, and they still had my contact. And at some point, they asked Tristan, like, hey, I think we're gonna call Calypso. So then they had my contacts, and yeah.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, we did progress quite well through this interview. So I only have one question left, actually, and that is there anything you would like to say to the German fans?
I would like to thank them for everything because I've been wrestling in Germany for maybe 2 years now. Started at Wrestling Cult and now in WXW. And yeah, the German fans were always so lovely, so amazing. Like I've always had the best time in front of the German crowd. And yeah, they were just awesome. So thank you so much for that and for following what I do and for cheering me or hating me, whatever. It is just still like amazing. Like I've always had a lot of good time with the German crowd, and even when I hear from other wrestlers from other countries, like even overseas, they always like so amazed with how amazing the German crowd is. Like, it's just like incredible. So the German crowd, please stay like this, stay awesome. Like, that's just amazing.
Yeah, I guess we'll try to stay as we are. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you again in Oberhausen next month, and hopefully you will win not only one match, but maybe the whole Femme Fatale tournament. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Exactly. Yeah, Calypso, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Until then.